Hello, YouTube. Long time no see. I am back with another baby deck profile because this is like my favorite leader and one of the coolest decks I've personally played. I'm a little biased, I had some success with it in the first uh, Nats, finished top four and got my invite to Worlds with this deck, so a little biased. And I want to see this guy hopefully kind of get some limelight outside of the obvious, um, I think even like Gogeta is probably a little bit better in people's eyes compared to this. Even with like the new promo, the new Veku or Fat Gogeta, whatever he is. And then Bardock getting the generic Bardock support, SS4 getting some more support as well. And then obviously like Goku's lineage being kind of a whole new archetype in and of itself. But yeah, gonna give a quick deck profile. I'm going to break down some other kind of options and like kind of engines I could see this deck having, along with really just like how there's multiple different ways to play black as a color this format. And I don't think there is one, at least as of right now, one correct or defined way that you need to play this deck. I think there's specific cards you should be playing if you want a higher chance of winning, but the cards, the other tech options, the other slots that are available, you can go several different ways. So yeah, we'll touch on that first. Again, I'm just going to start with this deck profile. Got Baby Vegeta. You know, for those of you who don't know, his main kind of thing is you can combo with rest mode battle cards that are either Machine Mutant or Brainwash cards that are in rest mode, and you do have some pretty good ones in the deck. I think this isn't the Raildo package build. I've already covered that one on my channel, and I don't think you really changing a lot from that version. It's probably still looking relatively the same, just because I mean there isn't a lot of flexibility in that deck. But I think that version is probably still pretty viable right now as well. Had a pretty bad sale matchup, but I don't think that's really in the format as much anymore. It's still a very strong deck, but I haven't really seen it running around as much. So if you want to try that version out, maybe make a couple tweaks, add a couple newer cards. I think that version's still really viable, but I'm leaning more into the kind of generic good card build. So yeah, let's get right into it. Starting off, we got four Chi-Chis, Black Staple, I mean Self Awakener, 20k offensive combo. So yeah, pretty strong card. I think most decks are playing four. I could see an argument for three in some versions, but I like four. After that, we have three of the one drop Baby Possessed Boy form. This is an enabler for your two drop Machine Mutant or Brainwash cards. Mainly your Trunks, two drop Trunks, just because in this version that's our main attacker that we have. Sometimes you can be treating out some of the other two drops, which I'll talk about here shortly, but yeah, pretty good card. Again, three of this. I could see some versions playing four if absolutely necessary. After that, we have three Hercule GT. Good generic black card again. I will say our marker manipulation in this version isn't the absolute best, so there's times where this is a little dead, but when it's live, you're usually taking advantage of having that marker and grabbing back a multitude of our one-drop threats. After that, three Para. I'm playing four in my GT build, but I think you have to play at least three. There's several good hits that kind of cards you have to stop, in my opinion, specifically against black. Five drop Bardock is a mandatory. That card just snowballs. We don't really have a lot of removal in this version, at least for like 5 and ups. You can answer some 4s, but 5 and ups. So, stunning it or having it so it can attack is going to be our next best option, which is where Para comes in clutch. And then rounding out the ones, we have two Girus. I don't know if this card's absolutely necessary. It is a Machine Mutant, so we can grab it back off the 2-drop Trunks. It does pop a 1 or less, but I think our 1 or less threats in the deck aren't, or at least in the format right now, aren't super important. So I could see you cutting this in complete honesty. So yeah, those are our ones. Moving on to twos, we have four Bolas. Life Taker, marker, makes a marker when you combo it from board if you don't have one. So solid card in the early game, even sometimes in the mid game if you need to generate a marker. Yeah, just a good card for the archetype. After that, we have three Sun Goten GT. Bounces a 4 or less when comboed from the board. So, you're able to answer some of the 4s, but I would argue right now 5s are just as important too. So yeah, I think you could maybe get away with 2, but I have 3 in this build. It is a 10k at the worst as well. So yeah, and then round out the 2s, probably the best card in the deck, Trunks GT. When comboed from board, you can grab back 2 Machine Mutant or Brainwashed cards. Say more times than not, you're grabbing back 2 10Ks, but you can grab back another card we'll cover later, as well as I think can you only grab back battle cards? Pretty sure you can only battle cards. So you can't add back extras, but I'd say more times than not, you're getting back 2 10Ks. We're playing a lot of good 10Ks. I wish you could grab back itself. That'd be really good, but sadly no. Moving on to the 3s. We have another staple, I would argue, now in black. That is the 3-drop Bardock. It is a staple because it enables the 5. So with the context of that, this is really important. But it's also just an insane offensive threat, even a defensive threat. Obviously a dual attacker that can draw, usually when you combo with something. And obviously we're comboing a lot of things here, mainly from our board. So yeah, this card's really good. Along with that too, if it's in rest mode and they kind of are forced to swing into it to maybe combo up, you can filter out some cards from your hand as well if you have maybe some zeros or something like that. So yeah, I mean this card is just it was good before, but I would argue now it's probably at its peak in terms of playability and its importance. So yeah, 3-drop Bardock is very good. Next up, we have 3 of the Son Goku GT. I don't know if this card's really mandatory or even needed. My thinking was because I can't play the new 5-drop Son Goku GT that becomes a 3 if you have a Goku leader. I need something else I can do on 3 to make a marker or turn 2 if I already have the marker. And this was the next best option, but I'm learning now that that Goku is pretty irreplaceable, the new one. And there really isn't anything like it because it can enable the 5-drop Bardock, which is probably the best card in black right now. So yeah, it's a life taker, 25k body. Again, not sure if it's absolutely necessary. This is kind of like a rough draft, kind of what I threw together at first, but yeah, it's still not a bad card, don't get me wrong. And then rounding out the 3s, we have Super Baby 2 promo. It's a 3-drop. You look at the top 4, and you can grab either a Machine Mutant or Brainwashed card. And yeah, I'd say more times than not, you're digging for that Trunks. There's games where you might need to see the 4th one in order to really kind of finish it out. And yeah, I mean this card's solid. 20k body that can attack, and then you could even combo it from your leader attack to become a 30k. So yeah, this is a pretty good card. Not sure if it's necessary, don't get me wrong, but good card nonetheless. Moving on to the 4s, we have 3 Grade 8 Baby. Yeah, this card's pretty good. You play a 2 or less from your hand on play, and then when attacking, you can combo a 3 or less battle card on either side of the board. So it's good into Burnhan, at least in theory. I haven't played against much Burnhan with this deck, but in theory you could possibly clear 2 bodies. Swing into like a 20k combo their 3-drop or their 2-drop Gohan. So it is like immediate removal, and it is a body that they need to do something about, whether if they God Kamehameha it or try to swing in tall into it. I would say this is pretty threatening to them, so pretty good card. And then for the 4s, we have 4 Glorio. Yeah, this card is kind of in a weird spot right now. I think it was really good at first when it was first printed, but sometimes there's just better things or things you kind of need to start setting up, or things you need to start playing on your turn 2 if they go second, your turn 2. If they're off to a slow start, this is good for you. But other than that, it's a 10k at the worst. So there's that, but I'm not sure if you need 4 anymore, to be honest. I cut it down to 3 in some other decks that I'm playing as well. Moving on to the 5s. In this, just with these cards, I only have 2 of them in here, but when I was playing online with this deck, I definitely bumped it up to 3. I think you should be playing 4 with some more enablers, which I'll talk about later. Because yeah, this card is too good. This card is insane. It can snowball the game into your favor really quick. You can become a threat on your front side if you are not awakened and your opponent is awakened, if they're a 20k leader. And it also provides defense into some aggro decks if they're all 20k spam, what have you. Yeah, this card is insane. I am very happy Black got a card like this, and yeah, this card is easily probably the best card printed in set 8. So yeah, 5-drop Bardock. But play more of this card. And then moving on, we got supers, super combos, cool, and then 10 times Kamehameha to answer some low end removal or some low end stuff, and yeah, it also looks pretty cool. So yeah, so that's it for the build. Now what I want to really talk about is some different ways. First, I'll probably start with just different tech options you can play in this deck specifically, and then I'll move on to tech options and then some like engines in this deck, and then I'll move on to some generic ways and other cards that I've kind of seen people been thinking about playing and my thoughts on them. So the first one is this 5-drop Goku. So when attacking, you may place the top 5 cards of your deck into their owner's drop. You're not doing that. Activate main once per turn. Place up to 3 cards with a cost of 6 or less and different card names from your drop at the top or bottom of their owner's deck in a random order. The main thing you are doing is putting the 2-drop Trunks on top of your deck when it's in your drop area. There is no other way to really bring this card back. I don't think this is very good, but I think I saw it somewhere. Somebody was talking about it, and I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. But I just think you're trying to do other stuff with your 5 energy. But don't get me wrong, this is a cool card. I think it is a cool card. It's a cool idea. Maybe if the format was a little bit slower and Burnhan wasn't such a threat, I could see an argument for this card. But right now, I think it is a little too slow. But still a very cool card. Don't get me wrong. After that, we have just kind of some smaller engines. So we have 1-drop Pan Searcher. You look at the top 5, and you can grab either a Son Goku GT or a Trunks GT and add it to your hand. So yeah, again, just more ways to search and enable the 2-drop Trunks for that mid to late game. We also have the kind of Blanket Protector Trunks as well as another search option, or just really a generic option for Black. But I'll be honest, yeah, I haven't really been too scared of removal playing other decks, and I would even argue too in this deck you're usually comboing things on your board, so there really isn't anything to protect. As you can see also, we're not playing the SS4, which I'll talk about later, the secret rare, but yeah, just another thing to really think about. Every time I build this deck, I always think, is it time to play Pan just to search my Trunks? But I would think right now, probably not yet at least. After that, another engine we have Bizu and Super Sigma. I saw a guy who was like playing this. He was playing Baby last set in FB02 format, and like set 7, and he was having some success. And yeah, I don't know who you are, but shout out to you for keeping this alive. And this was a pretty cool kind of like engine he was playing. These are both 10Ks. Bizu is a 1-drop that lets you play when it's comboed from the battle area, you play a Super Sigma with a cost of 2 from your hand. And then Super Sigma is a 25k 2-drop that says on play, if you have less than 3 cards with Machine Mutant and their special traits in your drop, KO this card. So, again, just kind of more ways to apply pressure, I would say, like in the mid game, possibly even the late game. You can play the 1. If you want to be aggressive, you could like play a Chi-Chi, swing with this, combo the Chi-Chi, 25k, swing with leader, combo this, play the 2, swing with this. You know, like there's a lot of options. I think like, you know, if you play you could play the Super Baby 1 and then swing with this, combo the little baby, the 1-drop baby possessed boy form, and then play Trunks, and then you could swing with Trunks, combo this. There's just a lot of cool options I think you can have with this deck, and this is one of them. So yeah, this is a pretty cool little engine. They're 10Ks and only really 8 cards. I will say you're probably leaning more into the Machine Mutant archetype, which I'll kind of show here later as well. But yeah, cool deck, or cool engine, I should say. After that, we have kind of a two-parter. But first, we'll touch on Bardock, and obviously you don't have the new Son Goku GT that becomes that's a 3 in your hand or a 5 on the board. So instead, you need something to make up for that. So we have this like uncommon Son Gohan future. He is a 10k, he is a 3-drop, and he has a 20k body. On play, you add up to 1 card from your life to your hand, and when attacking, does not matter because you need only Goku's lineage. But he is a 3-cost Goku's lineage that can enable your Bardock. So I would argue this is probably the best option for non Goku leaders that want to play the 5-drop Bardock. I think this one probably has the best stat line. It can still be answered by most threats that already answer the 5-drop Goku, like God Kamehameha and other things. So I think it's like kind of neither here nor there that he is like 10k less in attack. I mean, yes, it's important, but I would say this is what matters more, is turning this, getting as many cards in your deck to enable this guy. And then with that, another cool engine that this deck can play, which I thought was kind of like funny, was this is Revenge Deathball. I remember when the set was first revealed, I really wanted this card to work. So this card reads, activate main. If you have 3 or more battle cards with Brainwashed or Machine Mutant in their special traits in your drop, your leader with Machine Mutant in its special traits gets plus 5k power until the end of your opponent's next turn. So, in theory, if you are awakened, you can, because this doesn't stack when you're awakened, it can only buff a 20k leader. So if you're unawakened, you can do 2 of these and become a 25k body. If you are awakened, you can do 1 of these, and then you can play out this Son Goten GT that reads, auto, when this card is used in a combo from the battle area, draw 1 card. Then, during this turn, the next time you use an extra with a cost of 2 or less from your hand, you don't have to pay the cost. So, I want to try to make this work because I think having a 30k leader, or even just like 25k leader if they're answering Bardocks consistently or what have you, I think it's pretty cool. The hard part is finding space for it and finding room, but I think there might be something there if I'm being honest. So, yeah, that's another cool little engine. And then finally, I just want to touch on really some generic cards and arguments I could see for or against them to a degree. And kind of just like, again, I think there's several different ways you can play black as a color. I don't think there is one right way. I can see arguments for all of these cards in here being good. Maybe outside of Triple Striker, but we'll touch on that. So, yeah, we have Ultimate Sparking, Secret Rare, Double Strike Bardock. With that, too, I don't have the card, but the Double Strike Gohan, the new one, that's Goku's lineage, Gogeta, Soul Punisher, and Triple Strike. So, yeah, I mean, Ultimate Sparking, obviously, I think with the decline of Boo, this card is a little not as strong. Really outside, the only thing outside of Son Goten that's spamming, I don't know if there is anything that's spamming bodies outside of, I mean, there's Kefla, Turles, or not, yeah, whatever. I don't know. And again, marker manipulation is a little bit harder now, I would say, in most decks, because I don't think they're playing as much Secret Rare anymore. It might be a little too slow. I don't know, and I think there might be a lot of ways you can answer this card efficiently, or ways to bounce it back to hand, what have you. But yes, this is still a strong card. I can see an argument for black decks playing it, but how I'm seeing black is you can stray away from this card and I wouldn't be mad about it. You could still play 4 of this card. I wouldn't be mad about it. As long as whatever you're playing makes sense to want to play it. After that, we have the Double Strike Bardock or the Double Strike Gohan. They both have their kind of pros and cons. Like, obviously, this is, combo pop a card. I think the other one pops like a 3 or less, and you get a marker. So, the Double Strike, solid. But again, like, I'm just trying to play lower to the ground, more efficient bodies, and I don't. I just think paying 5 for one thing right now doesn't feel as good as I want it. As good as it has felt before. Like I think now you're just trying to get as much value from the threes and the twos and some of the fours even, instead of just playing 1/5. Like I think you're just trying to kill them. Obviously with this, and if you're using it as like a removal piece right now, then I don't know. Outside of Bardock, leader itself that can play like the 4 cost extra that can cheat this out. It's a little bit, it's a hard argument to make, but I could see the argument for it. So yeah, moving on. 6 cost Gogeta can't restand battle cards again with Boo. Not in the format as much. I know Yellow Vegeta is rising in popularity, just because they got a few new extra tools in their toolkit. Um, you know, this might be necessary. The SS4 build I was playing wasn't playing this card at all, but you might need it in this deck if it is a little bit slower compared to SS4, or if you want that extra safety net because you know you just want that safety net, I guess. I don't know, but still a good card. It being a 0 is hard. Again, paying 6 for it, even on turn 5, if this is your turn 5 play, this is all you're doing. So you better have a fat hand and you're at 4 life and you know you can't die, because if this is what you're doing, it's another hard sell. Um, Next up we have the Triple Striker. Really cool card, but again, I think it's just too slow. I think it is just way too slow. I don't think you're getting to 7 energy. It's funny if you can like charge it to scare them so that your opponent is just consistently comboing and staying at 4 life, and you can kind of dwindle their hand and then just kind of grind them out of the game. But I mean, yeah, I don't know. You play one of this card at most, and even then, I just think it's too slow. I don't think games are going to 7 energy, and if they are, and this is your 7 energy play, then you must have applied a lot of pressure throughout the game, and they're at 3 life, and they barely have any cards in hand. But yeah, I just can't see it happening with a Triple Striker. And then lastly, and probably one of the more interesting cards that I'm starting to realize might be a really good tech option for the Black Mirror, is Soul Punisher. Yeah, so activate main. It is a 4 energy card. Choose one. So choose up to one battle card in your opponent's battle area and KO it. Or if you removed an energy marker to use this card, choose up to 2 battle cards in your opponent's battle area and KO them. So it is removal for at least 1 body, and if you spend a marker, you can remove 2 bodies. I would argue you should be playing more. If you're going to be playing this card, you're playing more marker manipulation. I think in Gogeta you can play a couple of this card and get away with it, especially with the new promo that lets you create a marker for free when you play it, or I don't know, whatever it does. But yeah, this card is really good, especially with, again, in the Black Mirror. You can kill even if your opponent draws really well and they have they go second, or if they go first, they have turn 1 Marker Maker, turn 2 Goku, turn 3 Bardock. Or if they go second, they have turn 2 Goku, turn 3 Bardock. You can stop them from snowballing by playing this card. So yeah, I think, again, I think there's a lot of different ways to play black. I don't know if there is one right way. I don't think you play this card, but I can see an argument for playing any of these 5 cards, or again, the other Gohan Double Striker. It really just depends what you are trying to accomplish. If you want more top end removal, if you're looking for something that can grind out the game, maybe you play forward 10 times to help with the early game, and then you lean into the 4s and the 5s and the Soul Punishers and this, what have you, right? But how I enjoy playing black is just kind of crapping out 2s and 3s that are 10Ks and get value, and if you remove it, it's not the end of the world because I have another 2 and a 3 and a stun coming and things like that, But again, there's several ways to play black. I really like the flexibility that black as a color has. I do wish there was sideboards, I'll be honest. Pre-sideboard would be pretty cool. You could play some of this, play this. If you want to have this to destroy Yellow Vegeta, go for it, right? So yeah, game's in a good spot. I'm really happy with the cards that are available to play with. And yeah, really looking forward to where the game goes, where black goes, dual color, blue, green, yellow. I'm not a big red guy, but whatever. So yeah, thanks for watching the video. Leave a comment if you got any questions. You mess me whatever on. Just ask away, ask questions. I like talking about the game right now. I'm having a lot of fun playing it. So yeah, thanks for watching, and talk to you guys soon. Bye.